Welcome back to Meet Me at the Movies on C19 TV, and if you're listening to the podcast through WGWG.org, we appreciate that as well. I am Noel Manning II, along with Oscar Madison. Oscar Madison over there. Oscar, good to see you, man.
I can relate to Oscar as well. Ask my wife.
You can relate to Oscar and Felix.
Yeah,
You're a little of both.
I am.
You're a little of both.
I'm a neat slob.
You are a neat slob, or a slobby, yeah, a neat slob. I like that.
Yeah, the other didn't work.
Yeah,
I
that didn't
thought
work.
about that
Didn't work.
Yeah.
Movies, that's what we talk about here. Even when we get them wrong, we have people to correct us. To my right is a person that has no problem correcting me. That is Kathryn Manning, Critics' Choice Scholar, and I have been saying The Quiet Place for the movie. I was wrong.
It's A Quiet Place.
It is A Quiet
A
Place.
Quiet Place. What did it say on
Quiet
the graphic?
Place.
Was the graphic right? Or
A Quiet Place.
so the graphic was okay.
The
See,
graphic,
the script that
yes,
I have here.
see?
Well, see, the script I have here says. The,
I know,
so-
I know. Again,
See, I have an excuse. I didn't see it.
once again,
Why am I bragging about that?
Once
messed
again,
up.
once again, I messed up. Once again, I'm wrong, which again happens all the time. And when you have somebody like this beside you that tells you that, you are very humble. And so,
Noel, I love you.
thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Kathryn, welcome back. Good to see you. You've got home delivery. There are a couple things you're going to talk about. New movies that are available for home delivery, including one that was just released this week. Actually, both of these released this week. So dive in, and you enjoyed both of these.
I did. Well, the first one is Molly's Game, and it stars Jessica Chastain, Idris Elba. I think I pronounced that right. I looked it up. I think
You
that's
did.
right. And anyway, Jessica Chastain plays Molly Bloom, who was a real-life person who this film was based off of her life. Molly was an athlete doing really well for herself, and then she has a devastating career-ending injury. So she ends up getting into poker, and she starts running these poker games.
And making a little money in the process.
Yeah, making a lot of money in the process. And I mean, she's very successful, and she makes sure that it's all by the books, that it's all legal. There is one instance where she does break the law, but for the most part, in like her 5 years of running these games, it's legal, it's by the books. But she ends up being indicted by the FBI. They take away all of her money, all of her earnings. I mean, she had millions in earnings. So this movie follows her journey basically throughout her entire life, throughout her childhood, all the way up to her indictment and her case.
You really liked this movie.
I did.
You liked the acting in it, you liked the writing, you liked everything about it, right?
I did. I thought that Jessica Chastain was perfect. I actually looked up a picture of Jessica and then the real Molly Bloom,
Yeah.
and they actually look very much
Wow.
alike. And Jessica, I've seen her in several different things. I really enjoyed her in The Help, so I've always been a big fan. So I think she played this role perfectly. And then Idris Elba did very well, as he was her lawyer, played her lawyer in the film. And then Kevin Costner played her father, and I thought he did a really good job as well.
Yeah, well written, directed by Aaron Sorkin as well. The first film he's directed, which really kind of blew me away. We talked about this back during award season. I loved this film. What was your rating for this?
I give it an A-.
Okay, A- for Molly's Game, now available for home delivery. Also available.
It's a good film. It
Very
is a good film.
Yeah. Also available for home delivery. This is probably one of Greg's favorite films for the past few months. Is it A Greatest Showman or The Greatest Showman?
The Greatest
The
Showman.
Greatest Showman.
This is where you can use your
Released
Z.
this week.
It was, just released this week on Blu-ray, DVD, and other forms. Why did you like this movie so much?
Well, I just love it. I just love it. I'm
There
a
you
big
go.
fan of musicals anyway. And I just remember coming out of the theater and I was like, wow, like this is a film that's going to be successful, maybe not necessarily with critics, but with audiences.
Yeah.
And it's been mildly successful with critics, but very successful with audiences.
And you got to meet one of the key stars in this too, and that was a pretty cool thing too, right?
I got to meet the bearded lady.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she shaved too.
She shaved as well.
did.
Or did
Maybe
Tim
it could
put
be.
something in her shampoo? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. So good. So anyway,
Who was that?
I have no idea. So well worth checking out. You know, the crazy thing about this movie It was just in Shelby again last
like a week ago. Yeah.
And Christian was saying it was the sing-along version, so you had the bouncing top hat.
Oh, I didn't
So-
know that's why they wrote
Yeah, but
I
it's
don't
pretty cool.
even need the sing-along version because
Yeah.
I've memorized the soundtrack. so-
Well, and I've got the soundtrack in my car right
Yeah,
now as
me
well.
too.
It's
Me
a
too.
great soundtrack, great movie. I own my copy of this. It came this week, so I'm very excited that this movie is out.
You asked her why she thought it was so popular. Why do you think it was so popular?
You know, I think the story was solid. I think the acting was solid. I think it found a way to connect with so many different people, and it was a film that that provided hope, even though there were so many things that were going wrong in that time period.
That's
but
where I
think
was going to go
I think
with
it
it.
also provided you know, an outlet for hope for us today.
And it's a movie you feel good when it's over.
Absolutely.
And how often can you say that about a
Yeah.
film, that you feel better?
Yeah.
Almost cathartic in a way.
Yeah, and I just found myself, as soon as it was over, I wanted to see it again, and you know, kind of a different way with wanting to see A Quiet Place again. So I got it right that time. But yeah, this is a movie that as soon as it came out and as soon as we saw it, I said, I'm going to own this film. And I don't say that with every film, but it didn't take me multiple viewings to say I'm going to own this film.
I think another thing is that P.T. Barnum's character, even though he definitely made some bad choices during the film, he redeemed himself, and he did that by admitting his mistakes. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times, you know, in films, it's just a quick cover-up of the conflict. But this was, you know, he had to work through the mistakes that he had made. And so I think that's just important to any kind of story.
Yeah, and I mean, the casting again was just absolutely solid, from not just the actors, but the voice talent and those who were singing. I got a chance to see some of the behind-the-scenes work on this, when you would just kind of see them hanging around in a studio, practicing, and it was just, you could see the chemistry with that group. It felt like a community, and it really showed itself for me on that movie as well. What was your rating for this?
A.
An
for
A.
this.
All right, Kathryn, thanks for home delivery. Greg, sorry we don't have time for your binge-worthy stuff. Sorry.
So why am I here?
I don't
again?
know. You're looking pretty. You're just looking pretty.
That can't be it.
That can't be it. Well, we do appreciate you hanging out right here on C19 TV. You can email us, info@c19.tv. You can also download the podcast by going to wgwg.org. Thanks for that partnership as well. I am Noel T. Manning II. That is Greg Tillman. This is Kathryn Manning, the Timinator, back there with Christian Jessup. Christian's making notes on what not to do next week. And we will leave you
Like
with a
show
movie.
up.
Not show up. We'll leave you with a movie quote, as we always do. This comes from Ready Player One. You know, I think this is probably one of the best quotes I've ever shared. You know, ninjas don't hug. That's it for this week. Till next time, that is a wrap.